So word is, the latest Superman movie by James Gunn will be on all digital platforms on August 15th, which is earlier than expected. By the time of its run, it will make between $620 to $640 million. It didn't reach $1 billion. It wasn't like Black Panther or some of the major Marvel films, but it made its money back. I think it cost like around $225 or something like that. So it made its money back. Not a super blockbuster, but it did well. I really enjoyed David Corenswet as Clark Kent Superman. I really enjoyed Rachel Brosnahan. I'm a Rachel Brosnahan fan. I think she's an excellent actress, and she was perfect as Lois Lane. And one of the things I loved about that film was the relationship between Lois and Clark. Not at the Daily Planet, because Clark was still geeky, nerdy Clark, but outside of the Daily Planet, their interaction together felt real. In fact, there was a pivotal scene early on that was super sexy. It was a super sexy and super serious. It was super sexy at first. And I can only imagine if my mom was taking me to that film back when I was like 9, 10 years old, that scene, my mom would say, "Cover your eyes." My mom did that all the time. She saw stuff that was like super sexual. It's like, "Cover your eyes." I'm like this. Ooh. But yeah, it was a super sexy scene, but then it devolved into the issues that Lois and Clark had as a couple. And I like that because that's the influence of WandaVision. If you watch WandaVision, one of the best things about WandaVision between Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen was them dealing with their relationship. And that carried over, I think, into James Gunn's Superman. And I think that also carried over to Fantastic Four, which is directed by the guy who created WandaVision. So I like the realism. I like when I see couples on screen and it feels real. Like before that, we had like Pepper Potts and Tony Stark, and it was like, cat and mouse, flirty, which was always fun. But with Lois and Clark, what Brosnahan and Corenswet did as Lois and Clark, especially early in that film, was really interesting. And I hope they kind of dive into that more for the second film, which is supposed to be World's Finest, maybe. So we'll see, which is Superman and Batman. But we don't know. We don't know because James Gunn, I think, said he's going to start working on the script when Matt Reeve starts directing the Batman in January 2026. I think James Gunn said he'll start working on the Superman script then. So we might not see Superman until, I don't know, 2028. We might not see it until the next Olympics. So that's what I'm thinking of right now. But overall, Superman to me was a solid film. I didn't like the climax with Lex and Superman. I thought there was a scene with them in the office that was really good, but then the climactic scene, it was okay. Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor was very entertaining. That whole film as a whole kind of leaned more towards the first Superman. There's a lighthearted comedy aspect to it. David Corenswet's Superman was a little bit kookier. It's kind of like he kind of leaned more towards the Christopher Reeve wink and a smile, I'm not a perfect guy type of situation. Like Henry Cavill, he was just a tough Superman. He was tough, serious. You didn't want to mess with that Superman. Corenswet's a little bit more comical. Loved them both, but Corenswet was more of a Christopher Reeve comical side, but not goofy. He was comical, but not goofy. The Lex, as well as the Lex Luthor character, it kind of leaned towards more of the Gene Hackman Lex Luthor, but actually a little bit better because sometimes the Gene Hackman's Lex was a little bit goofier than I wanted to do. So Nicholas Hoult was really good as Lex, but I wish him he was menacing, but sometimes I wished he was actually even more menacing, and maybe we get that Lex if he comes back for the next film. But overall, it was a good film. Krypto, I didn't know how they was going to write Krypto in there, because Krypto was a behaved dog in the comic books, and in the film, he's a misbehaved dog. So I was like, how's this going to work? But it worked. It worked out perfectly if you saw the film. And one of the poignant scenes was towards at the end of the film, and I'm not going to say what it was. I felt like that scene towards the end of the film should have been a post-credit. If that scene, if you know what I'm talking about, and involved Krypto, if that scene popped up as a post-credit, man, people would be losing their minds. Even when you first saw it, it's like, oh, well, that's interesting. But I think it would have been even more interesting if it was a post-credit. But regardless, that ending opened everything up for the next, what's coming up next in the Superman universe. So I think it was a fantastic film. I thought it might have made a little bit more money. Jurassic Park overall, when you look at the Fantastic Four, Jurassic Park, and Superman, Jurassic Park's going to make the most. It's made over $700 million. Superman is next, and Fantastic Four has done okay, but not what I think they hoped. So what do you guys think about this latest Superman film? I thought it was quite entertaining. I love the beginning. The middle was cool. The climax, the fight scenes was great. the scene with Superman and Lex at the end just was kind of anticlimactic for me. But the ending just the ending was like, whoa. And it's very rare today that you see something and you're shocked. And it's like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. So that's good on James Gunn's part. And I wasn't sure about James Gunn. When James Gunn took over for DC and he kicked out Henry Cavill, and he was just, it was like, he was retooling everything, changing Wonder Woman, changing all this stuff. I was like, man, I hope he knows what he's doing. Because I wasn't a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy. I like the mixtape. I like Rocket Raccoon. I'm not a big Chris Pratt guy, but it was all right. I liked Guardians better when he were in Endgame and Infinity War. So when James Gunn took over, it's like, we'll see how he does. So right now, he's doing well. Now we have to see how the whole universe works, especially with Matt Reeves' Batman being part of this plan as well in some form. If you're a fan of the Superman film, some of those characters will appear in John Cena's Peacemaker. Nathan Fillion, who played Guy Gardner as one of the Green Lanterns, he was fantastic with his Mo Howard haircut. He was really good in it. Also, so he'll be in it in Peacemaker, and Hawkgirl would be in Peacemaker. And shout out to the guy who played Mr. Terrific. That's like the coolest black man I've seen since Luke Cage. I'd never seen him. He played almost like a 70s black superhero the way he played him. So shout out to Mr. Terrific, which I think they'll also be remaking either a series or a movie, but we'll see how that goes. So overall, really good film. What'd you guys think of the new Superman? How do you rank it? If I was ranking the Superman films, if I had like a top 3, a top 4, I say top 4, I would have Superman 2 with Christopher Reeves number 1. I would have Superman 1 with Christopher Reeves number 2. I will put James Gunn's Superman at number 3, and probably Henry Cavill's Man of Steel, directed by Zack Snyder, number 4. So, and who is your favorite Lois Lane? I'm Margot Kidder. Is the GOAT right now. I love Terry Hatcher and Lois and Clark. She's the sexiest of the Lois Lanes. But man, Rachel Brosnahan she kind of is like a perfect middle between the toughness of Margot Kidder's Superman and the sexiness of Terry Hatcher's Superman. And Brosnahan is like right in the middle of that. So shout out to James Gunn. Shout out to Cleveland, where they shot the Man of Steel. And I hope I won't be 75 years old by the time we get to Superman 2. I hope not.